The Force will be with you, always.
Welcome everyone, and thanks for joining my wife Stacy, my mother Melanie, and my sister Rochelle on a visit in a brief history of Hayes Arboretum. Hayes Arboretum is located on the east side of Richmond, Indiana. We'll begin this with a drive-through tour and ending with a surprise I was not aware of until our visit. Managing 466 acres, Hayes Arboretum is dedicated to the preservation and celebration of the native flora of this region. As we embark on this journey, please take in the scenery. I encourage you to enjoy every moment of this video visit. As we delve into the history of Hayes Arboretum, we must first pay homage to the Arboretum's founder, Stanley Wilcott Hayes, whose visionary spirit laid the foundation for this remarkable sanctuary. Born in 1865, Stanley was an inventor and a successful entrepreneur. His best-known pioneering work was in the railroad safety devices through the Hayes Track Appliance Company, which he founded. In 1915, Stanley began his journey into environmental stewardship, purchasing parcels of this land that were outside of Richmond and had been cleared for farm fields. With determination, he set out reforesting these lands with an array of 147 different native trees and plant varieties. Stanley passionately believed in the importance of reconnecting to nature. To ensure his dream of establishing his own arboretum, Stanley collaborated closely with the esteemed figures like Charles Dean, Indiana's first state forester. By 1939, his efforts had seen the planting of 90,000 deciduous trees and shrubs, including 4,000 dogwoods and 3,500 redbuds. To protect the land, Stanley founded the Stanley W. Hayes Research Foundation, Incorporated, preserving these forested expanses for generations to come. In 1963, his vision culminated in the opening of the Hayes Arboretum to the public, just before his passing at the age of 97. Today, Hayes Arboretum stands as a testament to his enduring legacy. These century-old woodlands offer sanctuary for both nature enthusiasts and curious wanderers alike. Near the beginning of the auto tour, our first stop is a bit of Richmond history that was moved to its current location after 1924. What you see here is the over 100-year-old Morton Arch. This grand sandstone and brick structure originally graced the entrance of the Morton and Garfield School on North 8th and B Street in downtown Richmond until a fire closed the school in 1924. By purchasing this structure, John Harrington saved the arch from demolition. It was taken apart piece by piece, numbered, and reconstructed on John's property. He originally wanted the arch to serve as an entry to a nursery, but when plans fell through due to the Great Depression, Stanley W. Hayes purchased the land, and the arch has remained here on the property undisturbed as a historical landmark. This arch was created by William White. During his career, William worked on buildings like the Morton Garfield School and the original Morrison Reeves Library here in Richmond. This magnificent arch now stands before us, serves as a testament to his legacy. Our journey through the auto tour traces back to the visionary efforts of Stanley Hayes. During the early part of the Great Depression, when there was no work at his factory, Hayes Track Appliance Company, Stanley hired his employees to construct 13 miles of roads so they could continue to receive pay during this harsh economic time. This auto tour is part of the original 13 miles. In 1963, Stanley's private estate opened to the public with over 1,000 cars flooding the roads. The gravel roads stirred up clouds of dust and led to bumper traffic, even requiring a vehicle to refuel along the way and several stalled cars to be pulled out by a tractor. In the following years, the gravel roads evolved into a more condensed trail, and in 2021, the Ronald L. McDaniel Foundation generously funded the paving of the road. This crucial upgrade has made the auto tour more accessible to all visitors. The foundation support is a testament to the enduring legacy of Ron McDaniel, who was a cherished friend and member of the Hayes Arboretum Foundation Board. In 1957, at the age of 18, he started as a draftsman at the Hayes Track Appliance Company, where he worked until he was able to purchase the business and become president in 1990. Although Ron's passing in 2022 left a void, his legacy continues through his foundation's impact on Hayes Arboretum and the community at large. Stanley Hayes, in 1922, embarked on an experiment. The story behind this experiment is the forest you see on the left. Over a century ago, previous owners had harvested this area for timber, reshaping the landscape in their own way. Stanley's idea was what would happen if tulip trees and white oak trees were grown together. Tulip trees, the state tree of Indiana, traditionally grows very quickly and straight, often living up to 250 years, while the white oak trees traditionally are the opposite. They grow very slowly, will grow as wide as they are tall, and live up to 600 years. As you marvel on these magnificent trees planted over 100 years ago, note that the mature tulip trees are out competing the oaks for sunlight. However, the oak trees have adapted by growing taller and straighter than the oak trees in open spaces. What do you think this forest will look like in another 100 years? Will both trees live together harmoniously? Or will one species ultimately emerge victorious, reshaping the landscape in its own image? As you take in the majestic trees surrounding you here, you'll notice the distinct beauty of this area. That's because what surrounds us here is no ordinary forest. It's an old-growth forest, a sanctuary of nature left undisturbed for centuries. Here you are stepping back in time, dancing the very landscape that early Indiana settlers would have traversed. The Hayes Arboretum staff are stewards to 60 acres of Indiana's old-growth forest. Within this ancient woodland, time seems to stand still, with some portions dating back an astonishing 500 years. Amidst the towering canopy, you'll find iconic species like the American beech and sugar maple. During the spring, the forest floor bursts into vibrant displays of woodland wildflowers, from delicate trilliums to dainty spring beauties and elegant trout lilies. If you are eager to immerse yourself further in the tranquility of the old-growth forest, we invite you to make your way to the Pat Mayer Scenic Overlook for a breathtaking panoramic view. On the other side, discover the Woodland Chapel. After you seek solace, reflection, or celebration, the Woodland Chapel offers the setting to commune with the natural world or to say "I do" with your special someone. I attended a wedding of two close friends at the Woodland Chapel many years ago. It was an extremely beautiful wedding. We're now coming up behind one of the most famous and most beautiful homes that has ever graced itself over this part of Indiana. This area, once known as the Upness for its higher elevation, previously offered views of Ohio before reforestation efforts and expansion of Richmond blocked the 3-mile distance. In 1923, Stanley W. Hayes undertook the construction of this remarkable home for his family. Dubbed the Hayes House, it served as a sanctuary for Stanley, his wife Mabel, and their 4 children. Every aspect of its design and construction was meticulously overseen by Stanley himself, reflecting his dedication to craftsmanship and attention to detail. Stanley resided in this house until his passing in 1963. Throughout his lifetime, Stanley held a deep passion for education, shown through the extensive collection of nearly 2,000 books once housed in the home's library. Furthermore, his creative spirit found expression in the design of the dining room adorned with faux wood beams reminiscent of a ship's galley, a nod to his family's history tracing back to 4 original signers of the Mayflower Compact. Upon Stanley's passing, this house, along with the majority of his estate, was left to the Stanley W. Hayes Research Foundation, Incorporated, a testament to his unwavering commitment to advancing the Arboretum's mission. Today, the house is used by the Arboretum staff and is not open to the public. As the Arboretum continues Stanley's vision of environmental stewardship, the house stands as a reminder of the innovation and generosity of the Arboretum's founder. This area of the Arboretum is known as the Paul C. McClure Native Woody Plant Preserve. Paul C. McClure's legacy is deeply intertwined with the Hayes family and the Arboretum, spanning over 50 years of dedicated service. Paul played a pivotal role in designing the intricate roadways that wind this property, including the very one we are on in the making of this video. However, Paul's most enduring contribution lies in the 650 trees and shrubs he lovingly planted on this land by the 1970s. As Paul himself said in 1975, we had to go into the woods and dig if the variety we wanted was not available from nurseries. The Arboretum staff used to go all over the United States looking at various arboretums. They would see how they did it and come home and see if they could do it better. That same year, the Native Woody Plant Preserve was dedicated to Paul in recognition of his selfless service to the Arboretum. The centerpiece of this preserve, the gazebo, was remodeled in 2023 by a local company, Silligan Closures team. Today, the preserve continues to fulfill its original mission as an open-air exhibit of native trees, shrubs from the Whitewater River drainage basin. Each plant is thoughtfully positioned to thrive and provides visitors with a glimpse to the tree's potential in their own yards. With name tags adorning many of the trees, identification becomes easier for visitors. Thanks to recent partnerships, such as one with Radio Gives Back Fund at Wayne County Foundation, the preserve has undergone significant expansion with new species introduced and lost ones replaced, ensuring its vitality for generations to come. From 1890 to 1900, this land you see here laid host to the bustling Richmond Fairgrounds, a vibrant hub of entertainment featuring a racetrack, a grandstand, and a ballpark. What may appear as a simple hill on your left, in fact, is the remnants of the east curve of the Richmond Driving Park. Renowned for its speed and innovation, this track at the time was hailed by experts as one of the fastest one-mile dirt tracks in the world, owing to its ingenious engineering and its unique springiness of the soil beneath. The track's revolutionary design, patented by Robert A. Howard of Richmond in 1892, features curves sloping higher on the outside, a new concept for the time. This new design inspired elements of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, located in Speedway, Indiana. Initially created for horse racing, the track witnessed the thundering hooves of many famous record-breaking horses. Over time, it transitioned to host exhilarating bicycle races, setting new records and thrilling spectators once again. Later, it even saw daring automobile and motorcycle races. However, as the fairgrounds gradually lost its allure, this area became farmland until Stanley W. Hayes acquired the land in the 1920s and embarked on his mission to reforest and rejuvenate the landscape. To the right stands the East Tunnel, the connection between where we are and the east side of Hayes Arboretum. On the east side, visitors can hike, mountain bike, and explore the features such as the Indiana Mound, one of 2 Native American burial mounds in the Arboretum, Scott Pond, and pollinator fields which are full with blooms in the summer months. The fountain you see here was once a lily pond, cherished by Stanley W. Hayes and his family when it was still their private estate. In 1980, this spot was dedicated to Stanley's eldest son, Bryce. As an accomplished entrepreneur in his own right, Bryce served as the president of Hayes Track Appliance Company and as president of the Hayes Arboretum Foundation Board. As president of the Hayes Foundation, Bryce Hayes co-chaired the campaign of 1970, which raised $1.25 million for the establishment of Indiana University East, located here in Richmond. He guided the Arboretum through a period of growth and transformation, turning his father's estate into a public arboretum. Bryce passed away in 1980, and his legacy lives on through his descendants, who are committed to upholding the Arboretum's mission of connecting people to nature. For the sound and grace of the landscape, the surrounding lawn serves as a cherished gathering place for visitors, whether for picnics, weddings, or a simple peaceful respite from hiking the trails. As we end the driving tour, we come upon the Nature Center and surrounding buildings. The story of this area is steeped in history, tracing its origins back to a humble farm homestead. The Nature Center, a former dairy barn dating back to 1833, was transformed into an educational heart of the Arboretum. Hewn from chestnut trees, the Nature Center's bare beam construction serves as a reminder of a species now absent from the forest. Inside, educational exhibits, a bird watching room, a live bee observation hive are housed within the former horse stalls, calf pens, and haylofts. It is also a practical hub, harboring visitor restroom, a drinking fountain, and gift shop. Next to the Nature Center stands the Turner Gray Meeting Room, once a chicken coop. Across from the Nature Center is the Arboretum's administration building, originally an 1815 log cabin. The Hayes History Museum, just beyond the administration building, was once a pure oil gas station, now repurposed and moved to its current location. Whether you prefer solitary hikes, group excursions, or jogging alongside your furry friend on a leash, yes, dogs are welcome to visit Hayes Arboretum. The extensive trail network on both the east and west sides of the Arboretum offer something for everyone. Remember, Hayes Arboretum is open free to the public year-round, thanks to the generosity of our community and the Stanley W. Hayes Research Foundation. What I was surprised to discover on our latest visit to the Arboretum was this new addition. Hayes applied for and was selected from over 1,300 applicants to receive what is known as Artemis Moon Tree 23. In November of 2022, NASA, along with the United Space Force and several international space agencies, launched Artemis 1, named after the Greek goddess of the moon and Greek god Apollo's twin sister, on a mission to return human beings to the moon and beyond. Artemis 1 was an unmanned mission but achieved its goal of orbiting the Earth and the Moon. In the Orion spacecraft's hold, it contained over 1,000 seeds from various different species of trees. During this mission, the Orion spacecraft traveled further, over 1.4 million miles, than any other spacecraft designed for manned missions before. The seeds were 268,563 miles away from the Earth at its furthest point. After splashdown on December 11, 2022, 50 years to the day that Apollo 17 lunar landing, which is the last time humans walked on the moon, the seeds were given to the USDA Forest Service, where they were germinated, planted, and grown in facilities across the country. Moon Tree 23, a sweet gum tree, was planted and grown at the USDA Forest Service Charles E. Bessie Nursery located near Halsey, Nebraska. Between the spring of 2024 and continuing through the fall of 2025, these moon trees are being distributed to organizations, universities, and government offices nationwide. Along with Hayes Arboretum, Artemis moon trees are now growing at the U.S. Capitol Building, the North Carolina Governor's Mansion, and more. The history of moon trees started in 1971 when Apollo 14 took pouches of seeds and they orbited the moon 23 times before returning to Earth along with the crew. Today, most of those trees grown from those seeds are still alive and growing all over the world. Artemis Moon Tree 23 was delivered and planted at Hayes Arboretum on May 30th, 2024. When you visit, please stop and look at this amazing sweet gum tree. It's located just inside the entrance of the Arboretum and across from the History Museum. Hayes Arboretum and the residents of Richmond and Wayne County, Indiana are honored to have been selected by NASA and the USDA Forest Service to have this artifact from space. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this quick tour of Hayes Arboretum in Richmond, Indiana.